Today, we are building a miniature world inside a drawer. My name is Vera, I am a professional set builder, and today we are going into the world of miniature building. I am so stoked. If you've seen my videos before, you probably know that my hair can change up quite a bit, and only one person and alone can do this, and it is my good friend Franca, and she is a rainbow hairdresser. She is just magic with colors. She is so fantastic. And to improve her space a little bit, she has asked me to do something interesting with one of the drawers in her table. This is the drawer that she is talking about. Honestly, this drawer has been sitting here for a while now. My first idea is to make 3 different insides of this drawer, to make this an interchangeable inside of a drawer. The first world I really want to build is actually a landscape scene, and it has to do with a place that she walks with her dog. Then the second world I want to build is one with a dragon. I think dragons are just really, really cool. And then the third one, a more Halloween-y type theme. My friend really does like the bats and the spiders. I think that really might suit her style very well. But this area here, this will stay the same always. So this is always just her little studio. So I'm starting off with making a couple of walls for this and basically creating the base on which I am going to make this thing. I make a little bit of a template for the drawer with some paper and sketch out my 3 ideas. The outside scenery and the dragon cave quickly take shape, but the Halloween-y mini set takes a bit more thinking, and I quickly pivot to the idea of a Transylvanian spooky castle. When I've sketched everything out, I continue by searching and cutting down some wood. Instead of measuring and making a cut list, I cut down the first shape and then measure the height for the sides of the insert. Doing it this way saves mainly a little bit of thinking, which for some projects is just a really nice break. Then I glue the pieces together with some wood glue to make the 3 inserts for the drawer. The next step to creating a base is cutting out all the pieces of landscape out of foam. I use an XPS foam that you can get at the hardware store and a hot wire machine. I trace my earlier designs with pencil, which leaves a slight indent in the foam, and this tells me exactly where I need to cut. Between every cut, I fit them into the drawer, just to make sure that I have the shapes that I am looking for. These are the 3 drawers that I've currently got in mind. I have a Transylvanian one with a kind of Dracula kind of theme. This one is a gold dragon lair, and this one is just a hilly landscape from my friend's surroundings. These drawers so far look vastly different from each other, which is kind of cool because currently they're just the same materials, and I think it's pretty cool that you can already see the vision starting to take shape. These pieces are currently not attached, so that's my next step, and I will also be texturing them so that I can put a hard coat on. Of course, when working with heat and foam, safety is the most important thing to focus on. Always use a respirator to protect those lungs. Projects like these, where there's 3 different components, I like to divide into different tasks. For now, I am shaping and texturing. I use various tools because I want various different results. I use a scraper to smooth out the hillside, I use a hot wire knife to create rocky gold piles, and I use a utility knife to create rough ravine shaped shapes. And I of course use my favorite of them all, the best way to get rocky texture, my trusted rock. I use my rock by hitting the foam roughly, and I also make sure to go over all the edges since straight doesn't really belong in nature. Then it's time for hard coating. For a previous foam project, I already have a mixture prepared. It's a matte Mod Podge with some black paint in there and some tiny pieces of sand and gravel. The Transylvanian scene has some difficult spaces to reach when attached, so I reach them before attaching. I try to cover all the foam to make sure it's nice and protected, and of course I also do this to the other 2 drawers. While my inserts are drying, I continue with haphazardly painting some paper with very wet paint. trust the process. These are going to be beautiful leaves. While that is drying, I start on making tiny little furniture for the part of the drawer that will stay the same always. I make a windowy wall first with some plexiglass, wood and hot glue. This did not turn out as neat as I wanted, but I am accepting the loss and continue on with some more transitions. My favorite transition is the one with the tiny tables. It took a couple of tries and a couple of table legs, but I like how this worked and had so much fun trying. Let's get back to the paper. I am so happy that you trusted the process because see the tiny leaves? They are just adorable. I now have a fantastic base for the main drawer and all of the inserts. But then I decide that I need to paint at least one of them already, just out of impatience, basically. So I dry brush a first layer of white and a second layer of a grayish purple over the Transylvanian scene. I also know that I need an armature for the dragon, so I also try to make that. I am very new to armatures, so I keep it to a basic shape in the hope that I can make it look amazing later on with clay. I'm just so excited. This is all starting to come together so nicely. These are the things that we already have. For the drawer with the landscape, I have created about 1 million of tiny little leaves. I adore tiny leaves. They are so cute. And we are going to be using this to scatter all around the landscape. This is the cave of the dragon. I've already made a little bit of an armature for the dragon. It's right here. But I still need to cover it in clay. And then we have the Transylvanian castle. This I already painted with a little bit of different coloring, a little bit of purple. It needs to go darker, so that's what I'll be focusing on today. But the first thing that we need to do is actually make the castle because it doesn't have it yet. So we're gonna do my favorite thing of building, combining treasure. The treasure that I have for you today is this box full of wood pieces. We're mainly gonna use these. It has these tiny towers and I feel like these are gonna make a perfect castle. We're gonna build a castle and sculpt a dragon. I'm so excited. I love it when a plan comes together, which for this castle, it truly really did. I had so much fun trying to find the right combination of towers and whimsy, and these blocks were so perfect for it. As soon as I'm happy, I glue them together with epoxy glue to make sure that they stay nice and strongly together. Then the part of the plan that did not come together at all. The idea I had was to make this really cool dragon. I sculpted with the last bits of clay that I had in the main color I wanted to make the dragon, purplish, and I roll out the pieces and put them around the armature. And honestly, at this point, I am pretty happy with how it looks. Could it be better? Yes. Is this the first time I am sculpting a dragon like this, and am I still learning? Also, yes. So I continue on with making a little doggy out of clay while the dragon is in the oven. But then disaster struck. The oven in my workshop was not on the right setting, and instead of nicely heating up my dragon, she melted and broiled. I don't really know what to do with this, so I move on with other parts that need doing, like painting the castle in various tints of blacks, reds, and purples. The surrounding landscape gets the same colors, which I roughly use a sponge for, building up the darker middle and a lighter rim. I also paint the dragon cave with a grayish purple, and I decide to use our little burnt baby just as she is. I do give her back a little paint covering up the main burn parts, and I want to make sure to make her cave the most amazing cave a dragon has ever lived in. So I get out more treasure and combine various yellow and gold tone buttons, rocks, beads, and sparkles to make a lavish treasure cave for our not so lavish dragon. I then paint a little landscape scene and our little doggy, which after I give our landscape about the same treatment as the cave, but a lot less sparkly. I smear on some glue and sprinkle over our teeny tiny homemade leaves. I also get some nature bits and bobs and make our path with stones and some pieces of pine cone. It's a perfect little place for our perfect little dog. The final insert to decorate is the Transylvanian one, and this one doesn't need all that much. I just add a couple of pieces of leftover support of 3D prints to act as gloomy trees. Then it's time for the final step, which is decorating the tiny furniture and putting it all together. I loved working on this project. It was so much fun, and I'm very happy to say that my friend loves it too. I think there's a lot of things that went wrong or could have gone better, especially the sculpting part, especially the dragon. It could have been a better dragon. And I'm kind of sad that I didn't have time to make a better dragon, or resources actually. For maybe a next project, I will probably focus a lot more on the sculpting and will put in a lot more time than I did now. The sparkles are good. I like the sparkles. I love the castle. I love the outdoor scene with the doggy. I love working on this project. I could just kind of go and do whichever felt right and felt correct for this space and for this person. And I think I kind of did that. So that's very exciting. And I really like how they turned out. So let's take a look. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed making. If you did, please leave a like and maybe a comment on which one of the drawers you like best, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! They draw when they open up the drawer. Yeah! Treasure is good for everything.